Hey everybody, Nitreg here. Today is the 10th of February 2012. As a lot of you might know, especially Americans that play on Minted Poker, yesterday on the 9th of February 2012, Minted Poker went ahead and shut down its operations towards the US. They're still open for people who aren't in the US, but anyone that's in the US, France, or Malta can't play on Minted Poker anymore. So this is pretty disappointing. I heard the news yesterday. I was in class and ended up hearing about it, and I wasn't able to update my blog quick enough. So today was the first time I could really, put out a message and what my thoughts are. So I figured I'd just kind of like go talk about what I know so far, what that means for all of us, what that means for me. Just kind of go over that sort of thing. So. Basically, what happened, if you guys aren't really aware, and I'll post some links to this down below. The Department of Homeland Security in the U.S. went ahead and sent a letter, apparently, to Everleaf Gaming Network, which has a bunch of skins. Apparently, it's like over 100 skins, but Minted is one of the biggest ones. It's the one that I play on. And they basically told them that you need to stop. And Everleaf apparently did. So, now it's kind of frustrating because Minted was one of my favorite poker sites post Black Friday. So now I'm kind of like stuck out of that. I have another option set up, and I'll discuss more about that with you guys on my blog, nitreg.com. But I'm probably going to be switching back over to the merged network, specifically Black Chip Poker. So let me go ahead and read you a part of the statement that Everleaf went ahead and sent out in a press release. So I'll go ahead and quote them. The network owners have today sought legal advice, and also met with the LGA, the Maltese Gaming Authority, who have advised them that due to the nature of the threat and the current climate, the network needs to withdraw its service from the U.S. customers. I really understand how this will worry our players, especially those in the U.S., but I also wish to reinforce that all monies held by poker players, U.S., and the rest of the world are secure and ring-fenced. So, apparently Everleaf is saying that it's secure and ring-fenced, which I don't blame them. Like, any poker site's going to say that. What everyone is really hoping for is that this isn't another full tilt poker where they say everything's fine, everyone's going to get their money, blah, blah, blah. And then, a month or two later, we all realize that there's no money there. There's been some speculation to that because Western unions used to take like 2 to 3 days, and all of a sudden they started taking like 4 to 5 weeks. Also, on top of that, people that are outside the U.S., it took them like two, sometimes 3 weeks to get money booker payments. It got pretty bad over the last month or two, and then now all of a sudden they're doing this, and American players are kind of getting shut out. So there's a lot of rumors going around out there. In terms, like, if you're an American player right now and you got your money online, go ahead and email them and try to get a withdrawal. Just start going through that process. If this ends up being another full tilt poker, then you're never going to see your money again anyway. But if it's not, then at least you get your money. If you're outside of the U.S., then, again, if it's a big full tilt poker thing, you're never going to see your money again anyway. But if it's not, which I think that there's a good chance that it's not, you're good to go. Keep playing. Just realize that there's probably a lot of people like kind of scared and cashing out right now, so it's going to be a little weird for a little bit. But yeah, I would continue playing there. I mean, you're essentially getting free rolled off your money. Like if everything goes as they say, and it's just whatever for Americans, and you can just play really soft games right now and then cash it all your money later. But if it ends up being another full tilt, you're probably never going to see your money again, which really sucks. As a lot of us Americans can tell you, and non-Americans too, from Black Friday and full tilt poker specifically. So I guess that's just the state of the way things are right now. It's really sucky, especially for American players like myself who actually rely on this money still to make a living. I've had to use a lot of my savings to live off poker for this year and a good chunk of last year. I'm still making decent money, but like now it's getting to the point where I have to start thinking about getting jobs and stuff, which is pretty common. Most people did something similar to that, or they traveled outside the U.S. On Black Friday. That was back in April of last year in 2011. It's crossed my mind a few times, and I think that'll definitely be out there. But as for right now, like it's really weird. Like what was it? 3 days ago, 3 days prior to today, so 2 days before it got shut down to Americans, I actually got a Western Union from Minted Poker for $850. That was from like a month prior. So it was a little slow getting to me, but I actually got it like 2 days ago. Also, there was this really frustrating thing with Minted, and this is like, other than the really slow cash out times, this was the one thing that really just made me mad about Minted. And it's one of those things that if it happens, it's okay, but just kind of mixed with all these little tiny bad nuances, it kind of just made me really mad the last week or two. But I guess like this is probably like 6 weeks ago, I want to say. I went ahead and withdrew about $1,000. I tried to do a Western Union $1,000 withdrawal. What happened was it was the 850 withdrawal that I went to go do. I went to withdraw $850 via Western Union, and it was on week number 3 or something like that. And it was going really slow, and I wasn't used to this because I've withdrawn over 10,000, like something like a little over $10,000 I've withdrawn off of Minted Poker so far, and it's always been really fast, like talking 3 to 5 days for most of them, and then it got kind of bad and it took up to 2 weeks some of the times, but never had it gone really that long. So I went ahead and submitted an email to their support. Now support goes ahead and tells me that I should consider canceling my Western Union withdrawal and then finding someone that's not in the U.S. to go ahead and do a Moneybooker's account withdrawal from them. Now, the good thing about Moneybookers is I don't really think there's as big of a limit on how much I can withdraw, and at the time I needed like maybe 2,500 or so taken out of my account. So I decided that would probably be the best option for me because Western Union only does $1,000 every month or so at the time. So I was like, screw Western Union. So I went ahead and emailed them, told them to cancel Western Union, and I found someone on 2plus2 I basically got their Moneybooker's name and said that it was coming to them, and then once it gets there, then send me money, blah 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 blah. So we got through that whole process, and I emailed Minted support, and I told them all the Moneybooker information, everything sounded nice and peachy, everything was good. Well, 2 weeks down the road, I get an email from Minted Poker saying that unfortunately we can't do this. We can't send it to Moneybooker's account now because you're in the U.S. And I was just steaming. I'd been waiting like 5 weeks at this point for money, and I specifically canceled my prior Western Union withdrawal just so I can do what they told me to do, and that was absolutely infuriating. So I told the guy from 2plus2, and that was basically not an option anymore. And so now I had like all this money sitting in my account, and I felt like I had to just keep waiting. Like I had to wait another month for $1,000, and another month after that for another 1,000. It was just gonna take forever to get my money off, especially if I keep making money on Minted Poker. Like I'm just gonna have this endless supply of tons of money on Minted that it's just gonna take forever to get off. So that had me really frustrated, and on top of that, like I really need the money too. Like I need to pay living expenses, and just started school, got to pay tuition, books, all that stuff. It's expensive. So I was really frustrated with that. But apparently they never really canceled that first Western Union, even though I asked them to. So I ended up getting the money anyway. So I'm not sure if they canceled it and then redid it. They told me that they wouldn't. They can't reinstate the Western Union cash out or make it a priority Western Union or anything like that. They just said I had to wait again. I was talking to them on email, but apparently it came anyway. So it kind of tells me that they probably just didn't cancel it the first time, and then all of a sudden it came it ended up coming like 3 days ago. So I was really happy that I got that. That was really nice. And at that point, I had all this other money. I was thinking about ditching minted poker just because it's just going to be too hard for me as a professional to take that much money off every month. Because some months you'll win 1,000, some months you'll win like 500, some months you'll win like 3 or 4,000. Like it's constantly going up and down. So I didn't want to have all these points where I had like 4K online and can't withdraw it and have to wait for like 1,000 every 5 weeks or whatever it is. And at the same time, some months I might make like $500, and then it's kind of it feels like a waste because there's $500 that I could be sending on top of that for my max withdrawal, but I can't because I didn't make that month. So it was very frustrating. I didn't want to be limiting myself to $1,000 a month, or actually it's less than that because it's $1,000 every 5 weeks. So I was considering moving off. Like I was still leaving a bunch of bankrolls or a bunch of money online for a bankroll just to like play around with. Well, I shouldn't say a bunch of money. I was on a stake, so it's not my money. But I had stake money on there to make some money and definitely use minted poker as a way to get some extra income, kind of like diversify my poker portfolio, if you will. I was going to move a lot of my money over to some other sites and try those out, and if those didn't work, then maybe consider getting a job, but or possibly even playing live poker. That's crossed my mind as well. But I went ahead and of course, yesterday I ended up getting the news. I think I left out a major thing. So I was getting to that point where I had all this money online, and I found a 2+2 guy who I'm not gonna say what country or anything that he was from, but essentially we worked out a deal where I transferred him money on Minted Poker, and then he went ahead and requested it through Money Bookers. So he went ahead and cashed that out the day before Minted Poker shut down to Americans. So I feel like I dodged two giant bullets. Like as you guys can see, this is the screen you get on Minted Poker when you log in. I can't even log in. I mean, I can try right now, and it's just not going to work. Let me go ahead and... Yeah, so it says like login failed and stuff. So, I mean, that would have completely sucked if I had just like under 2K or something that I still needed to withdraw. So that would have completely sucked because I can't even get my account right now. So I got that $850 2 days before the whole site went down for Americans, and I got my money transferred a day before the site shut down for American players. So now, I'm in the same boat as you guys, like for people that have money stuck. My guy that I'm getting money off of, who's getting the money off for me, I guess, he went ahead and cashed it out. Now, if Minted Poker ends up going down like Full Tilt Poker, then I'm probably not going to see any of that money, which just really sucks, and I don't really want to go through that again. And unfortunately, it'd be that way for everyone, including you guys, if you guys have money. But if everything's good for non-U.S. players, like the guy that I had sent my all my money to, we'll all get our money while we continuing to play Minted Poker. The games are really, really good, and now that Americans aren't allowed to play there, it's probably gonna be even better. But I wouldn't. I don't know. It's incredibly frustrating, and I would play at Minted Poker still if I weren't in the U.S., but I would be, first of all, right now, I would kind of be hesitant about putting money on. I would wait and kind of see what happens with the site, maybe like a month or two. And then I would keep playing, definitely. And I would kind of just see what goes on, what happens, and just kind of play it by ear. But I wouldn't, if this whole thing blows over, I would kind of still keep an ear open, leave a little bit of money on the site. I would try to keep, I'd rather have more money in my bank account and then deposit whenever I needed to, rather than have a huge roll online and then withdraw from that constantly into my bank account. So that's just something that you need to think about when considering risk with online poker. Not only can you lose money at the tables, but you can lose money off the site. So, I mean, it's really low percentage, and Minted's been really good. I've been playing here since July, and I can't really badmouth them. They've been really good in terms of of kind of like a small site that all of a sudden got this huge influx of players, and they're under all these restrictions and stuff like that. So I can't really blame them too much, but it is still pretty frustrating with all these little things. I'm so spoiled by PokerStars when I used to play there, so I kind of have to keep telling myself that this is pretty standard, seeing stuff like this from all these American-facing sites post Black Friday. But anyways, I hope this kind of covers a lot of what I hope this kind of like answers a lot of your guys' questions, kind of gives you my idea of what's going on with Minted and what you should think about. I'll definitely try to keep you guys updated if I hear anything else. But as for now, it's just a giant waiting game, and hopefully we get all of our money back. I've got just under 2,000 on the way, and there's some people I'm sure that has a lot more than that. So here's to our run good, and I guess for Minted Poker, it's been good playing with you guys, and unfortunately I can't play with you anymore, but I'll continue saying good things about you as long as you bring the website back for my subscribers at nayrig.com. Alright, peace guys.